Hello, everyone. This is Brent Williams. How are you?
And today we're going to be talking about our why, of why we started Benekiva. So Brent, would you like to go first?
Yeah, we're taking a little excerpt from Simon Sinek. He wrote this thesis a while back, that basically said, start with why. Why do you do what you do? And a lot of people will say, well, I do it for money, or I do it for this, or do it for that. But really take it a step further, a step deeper, and really understand why you do what you do. For example, money is not a why. Money is an outcome, but it isn't a why. It isn't what drives an individual to do what they want to do. But so with the COVID pandemic, it allows us to think and really do some deep thinking. But I do want to start off with something fun. I want to shout out to at Club Pro Guy. I just got my T-shirt. So for those golfers out there, this says drive for show, punch out for dough. So basically what that means is you drove your drive into the woods and now you got to punch it out in hopes to stay par. So anyway, I thought that this was a great thing to start off a funny story with. Club Pro Guy, he puts a lot of really funny videos out there, and now he has some merchandise that you can go purchase. So I thought with this pandemic and you know golf being one of the things that you can do during the pandemic while practicing social distancing, I thought it'd be fun to kind of wear a fun T-shirt today. So anyway, so start with why. A lot of people ask, why did you guys build Benekiva? And Benekiva was driven, or was built because of the specific problems that we felt while working with policyholders and carriers and beneficiaries. So the thought process is the carriers have a pain point in claims, but so do the policyholders and beneficiaries. And unless you've never been through the claim process with a policyholder or a beneficiary while working with a carrier, I don't know if you can truly understand the pain that it causes, the people. At the end of the day, Bobby will share that she's met with, I would say probably 400 claim staff folks across the United States. And what always amazes us is, speaking of their why, they truly want to pay claims. They truly want to help these policyholders and beneficiaries. You can just see it in their passion, in their emotion, and when they talk about it. They want to pay those claims. And on the flip side of that, if you're working with a beneficiary, for example, in a death claim, they're going through a very, very tough time. And, they need somebody to help them through this tough time. So, when we created Benekiva, it was really solving, bringing both of those pain points together and saying, look, we can create a win-win scenario for both policyholders, beneficiaries, and the carriers by creating a superior claims platform that allows a carrier to really connect with their policyholders and beneficiaries much more closely, and create that tighter relationship. At the end of the day, I've said it for years. The claims process is where the rubber meets the road for an insurance carrier. So to me, their why really should be how to pay these claims anywhere, anytime, from any device. And I think now that post COVID, we will start to see that become more of a reality for a lot of these carriers. What are your thoughts, Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, I look back to 2016, right? My why of, literally, had a great career, had a side hustle, I was starting a startup, and when I met you, it was my why of why I felt so compelled to say, hey, Brent, we're going to do this. We're going to
Yeah.
solve this problem was I had just bought life insurance. So when I met Brent, when I met you, it was Savannah was 1 year old, and we had bought a couple
Yeah.
of life products. And the stat just keeps lingering in my head. 68% of claims got unclaimed. And when you really do the research and really understand the why, like why that happens, it's just was so compelling to say, yep, we got to solve this, because the last thing I want is I just don't want Savannah to ever go through that, because
Yeah.
that's just horrid. When I talk to claims folks, right? So there's, we meet so many people that are trying to solve different problems in the industry. And, initially, Brent, the number one thing that we would get pushback on is, why are you solving this problem? And honestly, uh, the you can really tell when people are not from the industry, right? And are
Yeah.
going to these events, because if you've ever worked for a carrier, or if you've ever been in a claims department, you would never ask me that question. You would
Exactly.
know that this is a problem that needs to be solved, because you've lived it, you've seen it. So I could, whenever I get asked the question, why are you solving this problem? I just tell them, go check out your claims department, buddy. You'll see why we want to solve this problem. And
Yeah.
and meeting those individuals creates a lot of empathy. You see the claim staff wanting to do the right thing. They're so passionate. They're all about the Benny. They just don't have the tools and process
Yeah.
to make their lives easier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, when we hear some of our claim staff. That was one thing, realistically from a research perspective. I share the story that, we did about 3 years of research before writing one line of code in Benekiva, and I believe that's one of the reasons why we're successful today. But the research indicated that the claim staff folks would probably be the ones who wouldn't want Benekiva, because a lot of those mundane processes that they go through day in and day out, the Benekiva platform just does for them. So we felt that they would look at our platform as, oh, well, this is trying to replace my job. When no, it was never designed for that.
Yeah.
It was designed to take all those mundane tasks off your plate. So now you can focus on more value added uh, items within the claims process. And when we came out in the marketplace, what truly brought joy to my heart was when the claim staff, welcomed us with open arms, and they were just so happy that, someone finally set in their shoes and then built a solution from there. And,
Yeah.
so that was, I often say today that the one thing we got wrong in the research, we felt that the claim staff wouldn't want Benekiva, and it's been the exact opposite. Once they get the platform and they see what we built, they fall in love with it. I mean,
Yeah.
you even shared a story just last week of one of our claim staff where they were like, "Oh, I've been wanting this for so long, and now it's here. I have
Yeah.
it," and the joy that
Yeah.
it brought her. So now she can focus her efforts on more important things as part of the claim process. So that's a
I think what No, I think what you just highlighted was, it's so important to talk to the people that are in those shoes, right?
yeah,
So when we based it on assumptions, right? Our product, those assumptions, one of those, we still built it from their viewpoint,
yeah,
but we didn't anticipate the amount of open arms. And I think that's so important, during startups, when people talk about customer discovery, and a lot of great work goes on, but sometimes, when you're doing customer discovery, you may not be talking to the right level in the organization. It's so important to like get to the person that could actually use your software, because
yes,
that's where you're going to find. And since then on, the voice of the customer, our voice of the customer is the Benny, the claim staff. They're an
yeah,
important voice of the customer, because they use the product in and out. It may not be the couple of folks that are like several positions over, and they may own the department, but it's so important to get to that voice of the customer
Yeah.
to solve the problem. And I think that was a great lesson that we learned.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's my why story that I wanted to share today. So
And same here, my why was my daughter. So,
yeah,
and she continues to be my why in terms of what
absolutely.
I do in the future. So
Absolutely. I'm surprised she hasn't Zoom bombed you yet.
she's at her grandma's. Not doing that during live cast.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Oh,
guys, until next time, next week, where we come and share another story and another topic. Thank you, everyone.
see you guys.